Well, hello, it's Miss Gina, and you're at Gina's Planet. I thought we might read A Walk in the Words by Hudson Talbot, and we're going to reread Goodnight Farm because we got too dark. It got too dark last night, and we had to stop because I couldn't see anymore because it's already kind of darkly written, and black print in the dark is really hard to read. So we're going to try a reread on that. But we're going to start off with this one. A Walk in the Words. It says curiosity, intrepid, integrity, authentic, inspiration, fortitude. It has all kinds of words all over the trees. It says, not everybody learns how to read easily or at the same age. Hudson Talbot was one of those kids who found it difficult to read at first. He felt alone and lost in a world of words. Fortunately, his love of stories wouldn't let him give up. He wanted to know what happened next in books. So he gave himself permission to read at his own pace, using familiar words as stepping stones to guide him into a story. He also learned he wasn't so alone after all. Lots of brilliant people were slow readers. Hudson's inspiring story vividly shows the challenge and the rewards of being a non-mainstream kind of learner. I also was a slow reader when I was in school, and oftentimes I would read the same line over and over, and I would have to follow with my finger. I still find that my eyes want to do their own thing and read things that aren't there and make things up. A Walk in the Words. It's got a really cool title page there. He's got words by Hudson Talbot on the rocks. It's a Nancy Paulson book, it says. For Charlotte Sheedy, with love, respect, and gratitude. It says, drawing always came naturally to me. I draw. I gotta look this way. It's too backwards and reflective. I drew all the time. I just did it like breathing. Do you know anybody that likes to draw? I know several people that like to draw or doodle or scribble or whatever you call it. I call it art. I like doodles and drawings. I'm not that artsy, but I like art. Every day after playing with my friends, I'd come home and draw stories that I made up. It was like diving into my own world. And there he is. Look at him. He's in it. And all those crayons. I think that might be a 64 pack. It is. It is a 64 pack of Crayola. He's so lucky. I love crayons. I bet you can guess that purple's my favorite crayon. It is. I liked words too. One at a time. When I was reading, I had to picture every single word. There's the word word. Here's the word birds. I don't even think that is a word. Maybe it's mirror. There's an ant, like the bug, an insect. And there's an ant, like your Aunt Jemima. And there's tall, small. Those are pretty neat. But long sentences, no way. I would start a long sentence and then my mind began to wander. I was the slowest reader in my class. When everybody was turning to the next page, I was still on the first sentence. Nobody knew. I knew. Because I was right there with you. And the more we read and the more we practice, the better we get at it. It's like playing music or drawing or art. The more we practice, the better we get. That's why we practice things. But the books knew. And they were coming for me. So many words, so many pages. Oh no, look at the books. They're coming for him. Ah! Run! Run away! Get all the books. They're coming. He's getting out of here. You ever have books come for you? Oh goodness. I feel like books come for me. I've never seen mine fly. I do have stacks of books though. I have a lot of books. Books weren't always scary. The first ones were friendly, with big pictures and only a few words. Howdy. Me eat pictures. But little by little, the pictures got smaller, and the text got longer. The text got longer. Oh dear. That sounds like a chapter book with no pictures. I think pictures are important. I could pick out the words that I knew, but the rest looked like squiggles. Squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. It was a reign of terror. My drawing pad was my safe place. He's in his drawing pad. Literally. Figuratively. He's right there. Oh goodness. A whole page of text looked like a wall of keeping me out. Get all that text. This one says, by now everyone in my class was reading book after book except me. What if they found out that I couldn't keep up? What if they found out? Oh no. This one says language and learning, thinking and learning. There are two chief causes of learning. The first is necessity and the second is curiosity. Curiosity begins with a sense of wondering, questioning, or doubting that leads into the process we call thinking. Yes, I'm very curious about things. That's why I like to read. I like to see how things work. I like true stories. I like poetry. I like a lot of things. I had to face it. I was alone and lost in a world of words. Oh no. Aren't we all? There are a lot of words in the world. I get a new word daily from an app. It sends me a new word to figure out. Yes, there are a lot of words in this world. Everywhere I looked, there were big words, scary words, strange words. One big word was stalking me, overwhelm. It described the feeling of too many words coming at me at the same time. It made me want to give up. But I love stories. Too much to quit. Love stories. I was good at picturing stuff. Maybe I could try picturing a way out. There he is. It says curiosity. Trepidation. So many words. Calculate. Never seen anybody do their artwork and put so many words in there. Trepidation is a following reoccurrence. It seems to be a theme. I grabbed overwhelm and broke off over so it just said whelm. It meant the same thing but was more my size. Now I could whelm the words before they overwhelmed me. I just read at my own pace. After all, it was my walk in the words. It took time to look for words that I knew. There they were, like stepping stones leading me onward. There they were. Even his walking stick says, wham. And the rocks say, keep going, trust yourself, go for it. This is your path. That's what it says. It says, I jumped over the words I didn't know and let the words I knew lead me into the story. After a while, I wasn't thinking about reading. I just wanted to know what happened next. We come in peace. It's books. They come in peace. The war between my fear of reading and my curiosity was over. Curiosity won. Yeehaw! Books weren't so scary once I got to know them. And now that I was beginning to like words, why rush past them? Read at your own speed. I realized that just because I was slow at reading didn't mean that I had to fear it. I also learned that many great people were slow readers. I honored them all in the Slow Readers Hall of Fame. Look here, we got Sojourner Truth, we've got William Shakespeare, Albert Einstein, Babe Ruth, Annie Oakley, Leonardo da Vinci. I think Leonardo da Vinci actually wrote Mirror Reverse. Thomas Edison, George Washington. I think it was Thomas Edison was told that he couldn't come to school anymore. Muhammad Ali, Joan of Arc, Picasso. Wall of Shame. Slow readers savor the story. And I tore down that terrible wall of shame. It says, slow readers savor the story. No more wall of shame. There's a lot of people that learned slowly or read slowly or had different learning styles. I experimented with ways to tell my stories. I could still tell a story with pictures. Blah, 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 blah. Or I could tell it with words. The monster from Planet Mungo, chapter 18. The monster cornered me. My gun jammed. I had to think fast, or Earth was doomed. My favorite way was using both. The monster attacked the space station. Help! The monster! People ran for their lives. He saw me. Front view. Yikes! My ray gun jammed. Rah! I had to stop the monster before he reached Earth. He's got to stop him. I feel like that's 2 pages. Probably because it's 2 pages. There we go. I remembered how my horses got better the more I drew them. My writing would improve too if I wrote every day. A drawing could show what a horse looked like, but with words, I could bring them to life. Now they could breathe and snort and carry me on adventures. I read every day in search of new words for my stories. It was like finding new colors for my art. But now I was learning to paint with words. Yeah. There we go. It was stuck. Page was stuck. There were still times when I felt lost in a sea of words. My drawing pad was still my safe place. Others found music, sports, math, and science. I'm kind of a science and music person myself. Yeah. Intelligentsia, epiphany, magnificent, intellectual, capitalize. Yeah, auspicious. That's fun to say. Oh dear, the mosquitoes are out. Words had always scared me, but once I felt free to read at my own speed, they became my friends. Whoops. They became my friends. I could unlock the magic of stories and even become a storyteller myself, turning that sea of words into an ocean of possibilities. It's already shady here in my little gazebo, my Cinderella gazebo. Now all I have to do is enjoy the ride. Woohoo! Cowabunga. Hang 10. Woo! And then it's got some author's notes, so if you want to look into this book, there's Hudson Talbot. There he is. There's the writer. So Hudson, you're not alone, friend. Got many friends that learn at different paces and different ways, different learning styles. Yes, we do. All right, here's our Goodnight Farm that we were trying to read. It says, Goodnight Farm. Goodnight Farm. There's a mama cow and a baby cow. That's called a calf. Moo. Moo. Goodnight Farm by Patricia Haggerty. Tiger Tales. And this is another book. This is our sight word. And out on the farm in the early evening light, the animals are settling down for the night. The cows have been milked and the pigs have been fed. Their busy day is over and now it's time for bed. As the farm grows quiet and ready to rest, Owl flutters and flaps and wakes in her nest. Good evening, Owl. There's the barn. It's a pretty red barn. And there is an owl. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Sea Rock City, the people that advertise that used to come around, and if they found an old barn, they would paint it and put a sign that would say Sea Rock City on the top of the barns, and they would paint people's barns, and oftentimes the owners would let them paint their barn and put a sign on it because they needed their barn painted. So that's probably why a lot of our barns are red, because Sea Rock City. Just saying. It could be true. Owl flaps her wings and sets off on her flight as the pig and her piglets settle in for the night. After they wiggle and jiggle around in the sky, they snuggle together as the moon rises high. Good night, pigs. Good night, pigs. The shadow grows long as darkness falls. In the stable, the horses shift in their stalls. Snuffing and snorting, they whinny and neigh and whisper good night at the end of the day. There they are. It says, good night, horses. See how dark that print is on that dark page? I can barely see that. Can you see it? See, so when it got dark, I couldn't read those dark pages with the dark words. It got a little hard to read that font with that dark print, the color. High up in the field, his day's work all done, Scarecrow stands tall in the late setting sun. Each bird has now flown back to its nest. Night, night, Mr. Scarecrow, it's time to rest. Good night, Scarecrow. There's the Scarecrow. Can you hear all my birds? Somebody's mowing with a bush hog down the hill. In the old barn, in the day's fading light, cow and her calf cuddle up for the night. Outside, the moonlight glitters and gleams as together they sleep safe in their dreams. Good night, cows. Good night, cows. Mommy hen gathers her chicks all around, tucked under her wings. They're kept safe and sound. Her little chicks say good night with a cheep. Then nestling together, they fall fast asleep. It says, good night, chicks. Always so soft. So soft. Maybe that's Esmeralda. I don't know. Esmeralda's a soft chick. While the farmer is tucked in all snug in his bed, the tractor sits silent in front of the shed. The day has been spent harvesting grain. Tomorrow the work will start all over again. Good night, tractor. Good night, tractor. See how pretty it is? How green the trees are? Yep. The sky is blue today. So blue and pretty back there. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's the sky. Whoops. I flipped over my little thing. Let me fix it. All right, I fixed it. It's all good again. The tractor. It's a red tractor. The pond is lit up by the light of the moon. As the frog chorus begins its soft croaking tune, the small chirping crickets will soon start to sing while Duck sleeps soundly, his head on his wing. Good night, Duck. There's that green-headed duck. I think they call that a mallard duck. And there's some lily pads. Those are plants in a pond. Says, out in the pasture, the fluffy white sheep bleat gently together before going to sleep. As the sheep snuggle up in a soft, cozy huddle, the lambs nestle close to their moms for a cuddle. Good night, sheep. Good night, sheep. Good night, sheep. It's dark there. It's daylight here. Owl flies back to her nest. Her visits are done. She looks up to see the first rays of the sun. Then settling in, she closes her eyes as the pale glow of morning brightens the skies. Good night, owl. Owls mostly move around in the dark. They sleep during the day. They're night owls. We call them that for a reason. Says as the farm grows quiet and ready to rest, owl flutters and flaps and wakes in her nest. And that was the back of our book. And that was the end. I hope you enjoyed that story. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.